Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope your week is off to a great start. The talk of today is Raw Vegan Common Sense, and I was going back and forth with this title and Raw Vegan Responsibility. If I've never talked about this before, and this is kind of going to be the angle today, I'm a big proponent of personal responsibility. I like to own up to things. I like to admit my mistakes. I like to be honest with myself. And when I go down a wrong path, I try to be the one to acknowledge that I was responsible for the path that I went down. So that's been a little bit of a pet peeve in this raw vegan world, in this high carb vegan world, that I see people all the time giving away their personal responsibility. They're angry and they're blaming people because they made bad decisions. They followed the wrong person, the wrong advice, against their own intuition, their own better judgment. And when they do this and it goes wrong, they tend to be angry, they tend to be embarrassed. And when people are angry and embarrassed, they tend to lash out. Now, we've seen this in a number of ways. You know, we see people every day. We have the great coming to Jesus videos, why I'm not raw vegan anymore and why it didn't work for me, or why this particular system didn't work for them. Every time I see these videos, I'm just like, how lame is this? Basically, what you're saying is you, like, when I listen to the background and what they followed and how they were doing it and whys, I'm like, well, yeah, but you're blaming other people when you made a bad decision on your own and you don't want to own up to it. And it manifests in so many ways. I see it every day, but it mostly manifests in people being angry or blaming others because they chose to do something. Listen, I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. I kind of got, some of the people groups. I went to a forum or two, and everything I was around was kind of part of this sort of woo type stuff. You know, everything was very, we're not eating hardly anything and we're staring at our navel, and I was wasting away, you know, in the beginning. I've told you my story. I kind of I followed bad advice for a while, not very long, because I've always been a person that listens to my inner voice, my intuition, and my voice just told me this was not right. I was feeling, you know, after a while, I was fairly educated on it, and I knew you had to detox, and I knew sometimes you might feel a little worse before the good came. But yeah, it didn't take me very long to figure out that, okay, well, I'm on the total wrong path here. And there was my process was not to be like, well, screw this person or screw these people or I'm going to talk bad about this. I just did my own work. I did my own adjustments. I figured out and started changing who I was watching. I changed what I was reading. I changed my approach. And I figured it out on my own. But there was always that little voice in there. But, you know, I've got my notes here, my trusty notes, like always, just so I don't remember a couple of points, miss a couple of points here. But, yeah, it's like there's a fine balance. I know sometimes, like, especially if people haven't seen a good number of my videos, I sometimes, like, assume wrongly, like, well, everybody's seen every one of my videos and knows everything I've ever said. So I want to clarify, very, very clearly. Clarify very clearly, or is that kind of a double something or another? But anyway, excuse me a second. Sorry, somebody at my gate. What I was trying to say is there's kind of like a fine line. When you're complete new to this lifestyle, you can't rely totally on instincts. You can't rely totally on what your body's telling you because you're not cleaned out enough yet, you're not familiar enough with the lifestyle yet, and you're just not, frankly, equipped to go on totally on your intuition. In the beginning, there's a nice mix, but you have to filter the information you're taking in. You have to use that information, your judgments, your intuition, to filter this information that you're reading. I mean, I don't know. I just have something pretty much, if it's even a subject that's way over my head that I have no idea about or whatever, there's something in me that I can read information and usually say, okay, I may not understand this 100%, but this is good information, or this is bad information. I don't know, there's just something, I don't know if you're understanding what I'm getting at there, but there's just something that, you know, just instinctively, intuitively says, okay, yes, this is right. No, this is not right. And then you've got the ones that I think are the most bitter are the ones that follow something, their intuition tells them it's wrong, or either they're not getting results, but they follow for an inordinately long period of time, and they really waste some time, and sometimes they do some damage, or they go backwards in their health journey, and then they're even madder because they didn't pick it up quickly. The people that pick it up quickly are just a little bit mad because they followed the wrong people or the wrong approach, but they figured it out pretty quick. The ones that are stubborn, the ones that are not getting results. Does this resonate with anybody out there? The ones that have been following a certain person or a certain approach for a good bit of time, say 6, 8 months, a year, and are getting no results with some sort of crazy belief that all of a sudden the body's going to do this and that, and magically it's going to clean this, and boom, all of a sudden this program that you've been doing for a year and you haven't seen hardly any results, or you've been struggling on, all of a sudden it's just going to bing, bang, boom and work itself out, and then that's going to be the way of eating for you. That's just not right. I would say just be a little bit more discerning about who you're listening to. Listen with very careful ears. But above all, take responsibility. Educate yourself. Always be responsible for yourself. Never be that person that's angry because you read a book of so-and-so, or you followed so-and-so, or you followed so-and-so's system, or you ate like so-and-so, and it didn't work. It set you back. It made you worse. It didn't give you any results. You got to deal with it. You chose to do that. You took in the information and you followed it for whatever reason. Now, not to demean anybody, not to say, hey, you were stupid, you followed this information. We've all followed wrong information. I'm just trying to save you the time of wasted emotion of being angry or blaming or being bitter. You discard it. As soon as you figure out you've been following bad information or you've been using a wrong approach, you got to be a scientist. Like I say, I get kind of cheesy. I keep going back to this experiment of one. I'm the scientist. This is my laboratory. This is an experiment of one. But you have to be very clinical in your mind. This emotion shit, it has no place in this. I don't care how you feel. I really don't care how you feel from the standpoint of how you feel. It doesn't matter. Either a certain way of eating is right or wrong for you. It doesn't matter how you feel about it emotionally. So when we're trying to figure this stuff out, and we're trying to get to the healthiest way of eating that we can, and we're doing it as an experiment, we need to have an open mind, and we need to be logical, and we need to block all that emotion out and just be very rational with it. So, whatever plan you're on, however you're eating, just be real with yourself. Be able to look in the mirror. Know that you chose to eat that way and take the responsibility for it. If you want to follow somebody, hey, you might find somebody that you follow for a while and you're kind of iffy about this. Well, maybe not. I'm not sure about this. Try it for a little while. Don't be so locked in on things. Once you sign up, you've signed a tour in the military, or I'm devoted to this for a year or for 4 years. You can eat, you can drop in and out of anything you want to at any time. So, to end this one and not just ramble, just take responsibility for everything in your life, but especially on your health journey, because your health is not as important to anybody out there as it is to you. It's your life, no pun intended. It's the vessel, this body is the vessel that takes you through this earthly experience, and you have to be responsible. You can't, if you decide to follow anybody, you give up your rights. When you just blindly follow people, you just got to take whatever results you get out of it. So take responsibility for your health, educate yourself, have a wise filter to disseminate the information, and get to a place of health and happiness. Anyhow, hope you guys like this message today. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel, and I wish you a very good week. I see it's warmed up a little bit in lots of parts of the country, so I hope you enjoy a little bit of a thawing out. Anyhow, love you guys. Peace.